And I'm Raymond.
And this is our DIY tiny house, Das Kleine House. We're here in Durango, Colorado.
Welcome.
Being of the millennial generation and knowing that we would never be able to afford a home, we like the idea of having something small that we would eventually own, and we do, and just not have all that excess space. Excess is kind of a theme in our American culture, and you know, we have everything we want and we need inside this house, or underneath the house, or hanging off the house, you know, but it's all right here, and we don't have the room that you just throw all your junk in, and it's kind of perfect for us. And being on wheels is good too. I mean, we like being able to just take our home wherever we go.
It's allowed us more freedom. Like, we could just move to Durango on a whim because we had the opportunity in the house. Just like, oh, let's go. Yeah, done. Don't have to worry about trying to find a house. Just a place to park it.
We moved down here a couple of years ago. We absolutely love this area. It's very focused on living your life outside and you know, really emphasizing play over working yourself to death. So the culture here is amazing. The weather's great. The people are awesome, and we just absolutely love it here.
I like the easy access to the river. It's one of the things nice about Island Cove. It's a good place to go play.
We're parked in Tiny Town in Island Cove Park. We're going to show you a little bit more about the community here later, but for now, let's talk about our house.
Yeah, so this is our tiny house, Das Kleine House. It's 26.5 feet long and weighs about 12,000 pounds.
And we're sitting at about 290 square feet.
So let's go ahead and take a look around. Durango is a very bike-friendly town, so it's very important for us to have something to get around. So we have bikes. This is one way that we like to hang them. These are our daily commuters. This is our outside mini split system. This goes along with the piece that's inside. It's plumbed right in, and then we'll walk around. And then this is our hammock hitch. So this is a little thing I built a while ago when I was working at the metal shop. I needed a place to sit in a hammock, but I didn't have anywhere to do it. We had no trees. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna build something. So did that. Now we take it with us, and we can hook it up to the Subaru if we'd like, and take it out and drive around if we go camping. And this is my smoker. I like to smoke meats. This is an old 55-gallon drum that used to house cherry juice that I got from the cidery. Now I smoke lots of meat with it. And then this way is the mechanical room. All right, so on this side of the house, this is my mechanical room. This is where I house my water tank, electrical panel, my beer storage, since I do work at a local brewery here in town, and just kind of extra outdoor gear that needs to go tuck away somewhere.
Hi, Ray.
Hello.
So as far as the exterior of the house goes, we have a combination of wood and metal siding. We wanted to do something kind of different, didn't want to have just all kind of like straight horizontal or vertical lines. So we've got some of these kind of fun angles and things like that. We painted a bunch of roof panels. That's what all the metal siding is. The wood, we did the Shosugiban on originally. However, the weather in Lock Buoy really faded a lot of it. So we've gone back in since then and done a stain. And then going up to the roof, we actually really love our roofing material. This is called an interlock roof system. So these panels are made out of recycled aircraft aluminum. So really super lightweight, and it's also really durable. You'll notice some of these knobs up here too. That's probably the #1 question we get asked with our house. So those are actually snow guards. We live in Colorado, we get snow every single winter. So it's nice to have those on there, especially because of the pitch of the roof there. When I walk out my door in the morning with a cup of coffee, I don't need the snow sliding off and taking me out with it. And last but not least is our door,
which I built. All right, so this is the door I built. This is actually the second door that we've put on the house. The first year got destroyed in a blizzard that we got hit by in Lock Buoy. It was gnarly. It was like dripping from the inside. Not what a door's supposed to do. So we eventually made this one. This is made out of Naughty Otter. We painted the outside to have that blue color. We wanted a little bit of pop. And one of the best features is it's actually a Dutch door. So it opens up, and that allows us to have kind of open up the house and make it a little more airy on those nice fall and spring days. So, all right, well, let's take a look inside.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, well, welcome to the inside of our home. You can see it's pretty spacious in here. The idea behind the house was for it to be parked in the mountains. We like the idea of having sort of a cabin, modern mountain home style. Didn't want to feel claustrophobic in a snowstorm, so a lot of big spaces, high ceiling, lots of windows, lots of air and light in our house.
This is actually probably where we spend the most time. It's the living room. This has probably been the room of the house that's had the most change since we've moved into it. We had an original built-in couch that was a bench, but was the most uncomfortable couch I've ever sat on. I do not recommend it. We got this IKEA couch, which is the tiny house couch. I know like 4 or 5 tiny houses with it. But to make it fit the space, we had to trim down one of the arms 1.5 inches. So I had to completely disassemble and then reupholster it after I cut it. But it's great. It's got a piece underneath that pulls out, so it's a big lounge space. And then right where these two are sitting is actually a chest that holds all of our board games we like to play. We do that a lot in the winter. That's how we spend our time. And then we also have our shoe rack. This is actually an evolving thing, but hey, you know, you got shoes, they gotta go somewhere. Over here we have, this is our little entertainment center. We used to have a big kind of L-shaped thing here to hold the speaker and my Xbox. Didn't fit the space, we tripped on it a lot, the dogs made a mess, so we ripped it out and put out this shelf. Works really well. So another addition we added to the space was actually this nifty little ladder. Pops on down. Woo. So we can access our loft up here. For a long time we had a rope ladder that was attached to the old couch, but it was, lack of a better term, a death trap. I hated it. Very rarely use it. So we added this ladder. For the most part, it acts as a nice storage spot. Originally it was going to be an office, but that just never happened. So this is the ladder that I made. This thing's pretty great. It's actually on an old caster that I took off the wheel that allows it to pivot and rotate in all the directions I need it to. And it's all metal, welded it up. And then let me just come down. Because of our roof line, which is a saltbox roof line, I actually had to cut off a leg, so it's a one-legged ladder. And then this is the roof. Boink. It's actually where I store one of my longboards and our bike helmets. And we got the world's smallest fully mechanical cuckoo clock and our mini split. The mini split's a great little thing. It does heating and air conditioning. And it also helps dehumidify the house for us, which is rather handy.
All right, so welcome to our kitchen. The kitchen is pretty decent size for being a tiny house. You can see we have a pretty long counter space here. It's about 13 feet long. This first section here next to the living room we use as kind of a multi-use space. It's not just food prep. We use it as kind of a standing desk, kind of throw the mail on it when you get home at the end of the day. We use this for a lot of things. We've added this shelf in underneath too. This has ended up becoming kind of our junk drawer. So we've got various bins with pens, cables, all that stuff, my computer. So that's been a really handy addition to our house. One thing you might notice too about the countertops, these are 40 inches tall, which is about 4 inches taller than a standard countertop. Ray and I are both on the taller side, and it's definitely more comfortable than the standard size where you feel like you're kind of bending over. Definitely better, especially when you're as a standing desk when you're on your computer and all that. So underneath this shelf, we also have our table. So dining table, game table, all that stuff. So pretty cool. It pulls out. We've got it on wheels. And it's actually got 2 leaves to it that open up. And then if you flip it around onto the other side, actually, it also holds 4 chairs. So if we have extra company over, we need more seating, Those live in there, and then it just slides back under the counter so it's out of the way. When building our house, we were very conscious about the materials we were using to really keep down on the weight. So one of the things that we used in a lot of spaces in the house is epoxy. So one thing I really wanted to have but just wasn't realistic was a concrete countertop. Super heavy, just wouldn't be able to pull it off. So instead we went with epoxy, and we found this company that does it in a variety of colors. So we picked a gray with this kind of sparkly swirl in it. So it gives you that feel of a concrete countertop without the weight. And what's great about the epoxy too is we sanded this down to give it kind of a matte look, and it's really easy to take care of. So if it gets scratched, it's really easy to buff that kind of thing out. We can put hot pans directly on this without any concerns.
We are parked in a legal parking spot, and we like it. We haven't always been parked legally. When we parked up in Lockbury, at any moment we could have been reported on, and luckily had good neighbors. But it's nice, we have that stress is off our shoulders. I don't have to worry about someone coming by the house in the middle of a day and be like, hey, you can't park here. Because like we're pretty well established. We have the skirting on the house and storage underneath. It would take a lot to move the house now. I don't want to do that.
Right over here, we also have some open shelving where we keep all of our plates, silverware, napkins, all that kind of stuff. I thought this shelf was so cute. I found it at a Cost Plus World Market, and it just kind of holds all that kind of stuff, and it puts it on display, which I really love, and just helps keep things, again, feel a little bit more open in our house. And then next to that, we have our sink. So it's a hand-hammered copper sink, and it's perfect for doing dishes, washing the dogs. We just love it so much. We have this fun little drying rack for it too, that folds up so we can have some stuff drying on this side and still have access to the sink here. Moving down a little bit further, a little bit more counter space before you get to the oven. This is an RV style oven and range that runs on propane. We have mixed feelings about this. The propane is really great for the burners, not as great for the oven. So if you're a big baker, would not recommend this style for your house. Big kitchen requires a big window. Definitely a lot of light in here, especially since this is where we have the cabinets, the fridge, all that kind of stuff feels a little bit more condensed. But it's nice to be standing here cooking or doing dishes and being able to look out into our neighborhood. That was one of those things we definitely wanted to have in the kitchen. Probably the last part on this side is going to be, you know, all of our storage for knives, cooking utensils, all that kind of stuff, and then storage for all of our other odds and ends. Underneath here, we've got open cabinets, which is not by design. We just have not put the cabinet doors on yet. But we have some extra bathroom storage. I've got all kinds of kitchen appliances because we do a lot of cooking in here. So I do have a stand mixer, a blender. We keep all of our pots and pans under here. Normal under sink stuff, so cleaning products, laundry stuff. We have a compost bin under there. And then on the other end, we have an Instant Pot and an air fryer, because who doesn't have an air fryer these days? So then on the other side of the kitchen, we have pantry. So we keep a full pantry stocked. Ray has the appetite of a giant, so we have to keep a lot of food on hand pretty much at all times. So we keep all kinds of stuff in here, you know, bananas, canned goods, all that kind of stuff. We have this little cart that also pulls out. And we also keep things like our vacuum, dustpan, mop, that kind of stuff kind of tucked back in here too. Next to that, we have an apartment size fridge. We went with this fridge very, very specifically. We wanted a bottom freezer. There's no reason for it to be on top when you spend more time looking in your fridge. And then we also put it on a little stand here too, so that we didn't have to bend over like this to then get to our small freezer on the bottom. So 9.2 cubic feet, so apartment size. And then last but not least, we have the bar area. So here we have all of our coffee supplies, tea kettle, coffee grinder, a little cookie jar, and then also beer tap, because, you know, if we are working at breweries and cideries, we should have fresh beer ready to go at any point. And then under that, trash, laundry, other kinds of odds and ends under there. And then behind me, we have the bathroom. So step in here, you'll notice it's not very big. We didn't want to waste a lot of space in a bathroom. We didn't feel like it was terribly necessary, so we really just wanted a toilet and a shower. So that's pretty much all that's in here. We have sort of a built-in shower that we put together ourselves. This is another space where we used a lot of epoxy. Totally waterproof, looks really pretty, but we did different colors. And then for toilet, we do have a Nature's Head composting toilet. We decided to go for that, thinking that we were going to be moving around a little bit more. Ended up being more stationary, so I think one of our next projects coming up is going to be putting in a flush toilet. And then one of the cool things we wanted to have for the bathroom actually is this heated towel rack. When we lived in England, these were in every single bathroom. Didn't really understand it until we came home sopping wet one day and went, oh yeah, that's great. So Ray found one of these at Habitat for Humanity and surprised me. So this is awesome. We can turn it on after a shower, throw your wet towels on it. If you come in from a rainstorm and want to throw your wet jeans on it, it's great. It dries things really, really quickly. So awesome find for us there. And then I think one of the coolest features in the house is actually here in the bathroom is our penny floor. So we spent time gluing all of these down. This is our retirement fund. It's approximately $56, $57 worth of pennies. But we think it looks pretty cool. Another one of those fun copper features in the house. So last little bit in the bathroom is our little toiletries shelf opens up. So we keep all that kind of stuff stored here, but this actually accesses our mech room. We thought this was important to have. We keep a fire extinguisher here, fuse panel, so all of that can live in there, but then we don't have to look at it. It just gets closed away.
When we built our house, it cost about 50 grand overall, is about what we have into it. That doesn't include labor, because I'm free, and everyone else I paid with pizza. Initially, we started out with a loan, which we got us the trailer and frame, and then everything else was just paycheck to paycheck. And then, so that we do eventually now own the house outright. The loan's paid off. It's 100% us. So that allowed us to be able to park here, which we have a lot rent, which is okay with us. That's all mortgage. We don't have a mortgage, and it's pretty affordable for us, so especially here in Durango.
Cost of living in Durango is pretty high.
Yeah.
And so to be able to come here and have this type of living situation, you know, it helps free up some of our money to be able to go out and live our lives. We're not just slaving away to pay a mortgage and a car payment, a credit card, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, a little financial freedom.
So in our house, we thought that storage was going to be really, really, really important, and it turns out we were right. So storage stairs were an ultimate win for us. We put a lot of stuff in here. So you can see we've got kind of a little coat closet here. We've got a little nook and cranny here for some dog stuff. We keep towels, washcloths, storage stuff, dog crate, dog food, all that. But one of the coolest spots, I think, is where we keep our record player. So it's a Bluetooth record player that we pull out here, throw a record on, turn it on, and then it gets transmitted to our little Bluetooth speaker under the TV. So let's head on upstairs. But before we get to the loft, you can kind of see up here the shape of the roof line. So again, this is a saltbox design, and we've got large window on this side, large skylight here. So bringing in a whole lot of light. We also really like to, if it's raining outside or kind of chilly, but we want to hang out in a hammock, we can actually string a hammock between our two lofts. So we've got a little hook here and then hook right across. Really nice with these big windows across from one another because you gotta get that vibe of being outside even though it might be kind of gross out. On the ceiling in this portion, you can see we've got this dark wood. So this is actually an old fence that fell down. And we did the shosugiban burn on it to kind of give it that really cool effect. We also actually did that because we wanted to create a visual separation of space. In this area where we have the high ceilings, we have the dark shosugiban, and then in the loft, we have it just painted the normal color. So this is our bedroom loft. So this sits right above our kitchen and our bathroom. We keep it pretty simple up here, so just some hanging clothes storage. This box here, inside we bring up the dog bed from downstairs every night, so the dogs sleep in here. Also have some other bins for extra clothes storage and all that. We do have a queen size bed up here. This is kind of perfect. You could fit a California king up here, but then you wouldn't have the space on the side. So the queen works out really well. And then on the far back side over there, we have actually a storage headboard. So it does lift up back here, and we keep extra bedding, you know, off-season clothing and that kind of stuff in there. So it works out really well. And then you'll also notice that we have 2 skylights up here. We absolutely love having a little bit of light, but it's really cool. Sometimes at night we can lay in bed and actually go stargazing from the comfort of our home. Island Cove overall is pretty affordable. The lot rents vary based on where you're at in the park. Some of the tiny house lot rents go for about $500 or so, and then some of the more desirable spots on the river with the grass and the beauty and the scenery are going to be more expensive. I think they're like $750.
To rent a studio apartment in downtown Durango was $1,650. I had a buddy who was looking at it, and he told me about it. I went, nope. And like, he just rented a place. He has a roommate, but they're paying $1,350. So most places are anywhere in that $1,200 to $1,500 range for renting, which is astonishing.
So this is Tiny Town. This is our beautiful community. Tiny Town is the section of this multi-use park where all the tiny houses are located. So there's about 15 here. There's some behind us, there's some just down this direction. So back behind us, there's also a shipping container that has a bunch of storage units in it that our neighbor painted. It's pretty cool. But we're actually gonna head this way and go check out the community garden. All right, so here in Island Cove behind us, there's this big cabin. So this is where the office for the community is. And there's also several apartments in here. And this is right by our community garden, which is behind us. So welcome to the community garden. This one's our plot here. It's looking a little sad right now. We're kind of wrapping up the tail end of the season, but we definitely got some good stuff out of here. Tomatoes, kale, a ton of mint. We've got a few strawberries left, and then Ray's pride and joy, the hop plant.
Yeah, I've grown hops. There's kind of an excess of plants, so I'm letting it dry out now. I'm actually going to make a tea with it later this fall. I'll probably cut it down in the next week or so, and go from there, and then plant it for next year. Make some more beer with it.
Welcome to the Animas River. So one of the really cool amenities at Island Cove Park is it does include its own private island. And so on the south end of that, there's a cool little beach. We like to come out here, go fishing. We like to go tubing down. We can get out here and easy stretch back home, and we come and hang out and enjoy the sunshine in the summertime.
So out here on the island, like she said, we both love to come out and hang out on the beach. I love to come out and fish. It's one of my favorite things to do is to come out early in the morning. Sun's just peeking up over that mesa over there, and just let it rip and just me in the water. You know, never a bad time on the water. I've been known to sit out here till like 4 in the afternoon a few times. It's one of my favorite ways to de-stress. There's parking out there in a community. You just have to be flexible on your location. It can't always be in your dream spot. We lucked out in that it was, but you just got to be able to be flexible in where you go and where you park.
Yeah, I mean, Durango's not it's not a city, it's not a metropolitan area, so you don't have the same kinds of amenities that you would have if we were still living in Denver. So, but that was a trade-off that we wanted. We didn't want to live, in a big city anymore. So if that's the lifestyle you're looking, it's going to be more of a challenge to find a place to put your house.
Thank you for watching our video and for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And for more tiny home tours and stories, click the videos below.
And join us on Instagram for bonus content,
including face-to-face conversations with us. We hope to see you there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.